This has been a reoccurring theme for almost a decade now. And this all started back with the 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay? So the Cavs win the championship in 2016. 2 years later, LeBron's gone, and they start a rebuild. The team's completely uncompetitive, and it's all just kind of downhill, right? The 2017 Golden State Warriors, arguably the greatest team ever assembled, right? One of the greatest championship teams of all time. 2 years later, they don't even make the bubble because they were so bad. I think Steph got hurt midway through the season. So that happened, right? They win the championship in 2018. 2 seasons later, they also didn't make the playoffs. They were eliminated in the play-in by both the Lakers and the Grizzlies. Remember, they lost those two straight games. So that happens. The 2019 Raptors, 2 seasons later, they missed the playoffs. We go to the bubble. The 2020 Lakers win the championship. 2 years later, they missed the playoffs. 2021, the Milwaukee Bucks fluked their way to the championship. Yeah, I'm going to stand on business there. 2 seasons later, they lose to an 8 seed in the first round. One of the rare teams to actually play well in the regular season that year. The 2022 Golden State Warriors, 2 years later, which was this past season, they got eliminated in the play and they lost to Sacramento. And the 2023 Denver Nuggets were now this is 2 years after winning the championship, and they're off to a very rough start.
Ooh.
So let's talk about the aftermath of winning a championship.
Okay.
Why is it so disastrous 2 seasons after? So whoever wants to start can start.
I think a few things factor into it. Because, of course, the winning the championship part, going into the next season, you're already on a high stool. You're like, we won. We want to be back to back.
Right.
But, like, we also won. So the urgency for the players, I guess, is not really as much, which is sad to say. It should be there.
Well, keep in mind, it's not
But,
the very next season. It's the season after.
Yeah.
So 2 years after.
I think it's a factor because players are getting older, 2 years older precisely. The league catches up to championship teams within that window. So their style of play is not different 2 years ago, unless it is, but most likely it's the same as 2 years ago.
That's kind of what I was talking about.
And the league catches up, as we said before. And I guess also the urgency from players. Also, players tend to get rewarded with contracts after championship years. So since now they also have received their money, they're comfortable and they're not playing for a contract as soon as possible within a year or two. They're kind of set for 4-5 years. So the urgency for
They're
that.
not hungry.
Exactly. The
Their
hungriness.
appetite is satisfied.
They're satisfied with the ring because that's all they wanted. They want the ring. But multiple rings is a lot of work, I guess, to repeat. Multiple rings is a lot. And
I think you said it right there.
Some guys do not care for the multiple ring status, which is concerning. We could be seeing it with the Celtics this year, hopefully.
No, next year. Because this
Multiple ring. If we're seeing
yeah.
the multiple rings, it'll continue with the Celtics. But
Right, yeah.
it's been a different champion every year since the Cavs.
Since the
The
Warriors.
Warriors. What am I saying? The Warriors. So, of course, that Warriors team I think was the best team in our generation,
Right.
and they of course wanted it a lot more in their window because the NBA in that time was not even close to where
Right.
they were
100%.
at all. Now I feel like teams are getting a lot closer, a lot quicker.
A lot better.
I.e. the Thunder.
Yeah.
Better. I.e. the Thunder. Timberwolves.
Celtics.
They're young players. Celtics. Well, the Celtics are champions.
They've always been there.
Nuggets, yeah. The West caught up to the Nuggets.
No.
OKC, Minnesota, Mavs. Phoenix was kind of there. They're kind of there. The East, who's going to catch up to the Celtics now? Is it the Cavs? Is it Philly? Is it us, the Knicks? I don't think so. Probably Milwaukee's on a stinker.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of those factors I said combined into one. I think it goes all back to mentality for the players. It could be burnt out. It's a lot. It's a mental. I think it's all back to the mental, how they carry themselves, and And I think also the players and the league and coaches catching up to them because of analytics and everything else.
Yeah.
That they didn't have back in the day during, I guess, the Warriors' time, the Cavs' time.
It's a good way to put it.
The Heatles' time. Stats are very different now. Like Tyler always says, stats we have no idea what they are.
Right.
But teams look at that
No,
now.
I think you put it in a really good way because you said it's both. Teams are catching up to those championship teams because they're probably doing the same thing that got them to the championship 2 years prior. So they're catching up to them. They're realizing how they play. They're adjusting correctly. Players have gotten better. NBA as a whole gets better, I feel like, every year almost. Mm-hmm. And and then number two was it's a lot of work. And it takes a toll on your body to go to the playoffs, and then not only that, but go to the finals every year. That takes a huge toll on your body to be back-to-back or to three-peat. That's insane. That's an insane amount of mileage on your body, and it's rough. And I would say it's more so mentally task-taking. What's the
Draining.
word?
Draining.
Yeah.
Mentally, it's more so mentally draining than physically, I feel like, almost. So it's rough. I like the way you put that.
Yeah,
those 2 points are number one right there.
I think the players don't want to deal with the stress that comes with a finals run because media, fans, coach stress, you're in the spotlight. It's sad to kind of say that, but
I
players
disagree. I think players don't mind that because I feel like most of the times players are locked into the moment. They can care less about the media or what's going on.
Yeah, I could say it affects their mental health. It's draining.
Okay, maybe it does. Yeah.
It's draining.
It is draining. I think what's draining about it is, let's say you're a championship team and you're so hungry to win that first championship, and then you win it, and then you have to do it again the next year, and you realize, wow, that was a lot of work I did, but I'm not as hungry as I was last year.
Right.
So now it's like, okay,
Yeah.
now my tank is on low, and I have to do it again.